And then it's very decided to this one.
Testing, testing.
Can you speak there?
Hello, testing, testing. Testing. Do you hear me over there?
No.
You don't have to.
No.
Speak.
Yo creo que, again, must be. So what I would do is I would kill both the speaker and testing.
We didn't have that before.
Eso no fue lo que hicimos ahorita, que quitamos el mute aquí, nada más dejamos este.
Testing. Testing. No, put the volume down. Testing.
So maybe this microphone. To listen to the people from the public.
I mean, I muted again. What I. Radia.
I'm gonna give you my community email, that's my cell. It was a big shot, like I remember.
You might be more sensitive.
So. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't want that to have that.
He's still doing the acting.
Oh, you know what, maybe I could.
Yo que está que tengo mi teléfono abierto.
How about now? Can you check if you can hear me? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you because you're there, but I don't like not to hear.
Open your mind, open your mind.
Yeah, can you guys?
Yeah, I can hear you.
But
You
okay.
see, because you need this to hear the people from the public. And
Me pongo mute.
okay, try now, because this one, try now, go ahead.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Bruce, give me a thumbs up if you hear me.
It says, yes, I can hear you. From
Yes, I can hear
Oh,
you,
hey Wayne, thank you, thank you.
but there's an echo.
Okay, ask them to try.
Great.
I can't hear.
Can I get like, Bruce, I don't know if you can hear me, but can you say something, because we're trying to adapt this hybrid
Yes,
system?
testing 1, 2, 3.
He's
Can you hear me?
He's speaking and I don't hear him.
Okay,
He's.
I've got my, Wayne can hear me, that's all that counts.
Es el problema ahí. Que tiene que cambiar.
Okay, can you guys hear now?
Yes,
I can hear Bruce.
but there's an echo.
There's an echo?
Yeah,
Desde que yo subí el volumen aquí, se quitó aquí. Whatever button you press, I don't
what do you
have
want me to do? Do you want me to keep talking?
Yeah, leave it like that.
Yes.
Yeah, but the moment he told me to.
Okay, should I sing
You can-
something?
To raise the volume here.
And guys, I apologize. We're just trying to figure it out.
Right
Yeah,
now,
I'm sorry I can't be there in person tonight. I'm out of town.
No, it's okay.
Eso le tumba el sonido, entonces no se oye nada cuando tú lo bajas
No.
todo por ahí.
habla otra vez.
Hello.
Oh, ahora sí.
No, that's me speaking and cutting it off right away.
Oh, you're good. Joel, you're good now. There's no echo now.
I can't, can you hear me now, Bruce?
Yes, sir. And there's no echo.
Echo. Good, I think we got it.
You can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, Bruce.
Good.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me too?
Yeah, no echo.
All right.
Okay.
What is your name?
Sheila.
You hear that? You heard Sheila's name?
Yes,
Good. All right.
Now we need to say this camera.
Ebenezer, I can hear you and there's no echo.
Okay.
Why am I the only one? I lost all the video. Oh, I lost everybody.
Yeah, same here, Bruce. I think they're still working out some kinks.
Okay. Oh, got it. Okay. I can't hear you now, Joel. No. Should we re-log in? Should,
They can't hear me, the microphone.
Can they hear now?
yes, we can hear you now. I can hear Joel.
Okay.
All
And
right,
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good. I think.
proud of the team. Thank you so much. Great in the office.
And then we should, what I do now?
So. Give me a second here.
I think it's.
Thank you for
fine.
joining us. We have Bruce, joining us here, online. We also have Hector. So I know it's recording. So it's 7:08. So I'm commencing the meeting at 7:08.
Mhm.
So yes, welcome to the committee, the Business Development Committee. My name is Joel Abreu. I am your chair, your Business Development Chair. Just to tell you a little bit about me, I've been on the board for 3 years. I used to work for JP Morgan. I stopped working about 2 months ago. To start studying for my GMAT. So I am in banking, currently
It's
an
recorded
entrepreneur. I've been living in Washington Heights for about 31 years. I'm aging myself, but yeah, I turned 32, so 32 years. It's been great. I love Washington Heights. Is where I was born, where I was raised. And it's a pleasure to be serving here at the board. What I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna motion to adopt today's agenda. Anybody care to motion? Second motion.
Second.
All right, you got a second. Remind me of your name,
Alexis Marnell.
Alexis. All right, in a moment, thank you so much for adopting the minutes. In a moment, I'm gonna go around. I want everybody to introduce. I know we have a few new members. Well, new members to the committee and new members to the board. So I want everybody to introduce themselves, and then we can go from there. So I told you a little bit about myself. I'm gonna go with the people in person first, and then we can go on the people who are online. So Alexa,
Hi, Alexis Marnell, was a public member on CB12 Parks and Culture for 5 years. Now I'm the assistant chair for that committee, and now I am on business development. Been living in Washington Heights from 2008, but I actually, this used to be a very big Greek neighborhood, as some people know. And so when my parents moved to Fort Lee, my mother made me cross the bridge every Sunday to go to St. Spiridon because she didn't want to believe she lived in New Jersey. So I've been around this neighborhood my whole life because my parents immigrated here from Greece.
and I'm gonna kill me because I'm gonna get it right.
Okay, so most of the cameras facing towards the back of the room, not the committee member.
It is
Can we-
facing like here.
Yeah, because
Wayne,
it's
thank
supposed,
you.
it's,
You're
it's,
supposed to,
it's
everybody else is
supposed
on
to.
camera looking at each other.
It's supposed to be a 360 camera, Wayne. Thank you for your feedback. So it should be carried, facing everybody.
You wanted to put it to move because the setting is that
It's
this
for the-
one
for
is
the public,
for the
right?
public.
Oh, okay, no, I mean, whatever it's supposed to be, it's fine.
If you want to use the other computer that we have there,
Um,
otherwise we can put it 360, so.
No, I think it's supposed to be that way where it faces the crowd.
Yeah.
And everybody's here, we can see each other. I just, and we're gonna go over this throughout the meeting, and what the future protocol is for these hybrid meetings. It's, I know it's new, it's something that we're all adapting to, and, after the introduction, we'll go and kind of explain what's going on and what's gonna change.
Working the kinks out.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, man, we're rolling with the punches. So that's a great segue, introduce yourself.
Hi, I don't know if you're supposed to- Hello, my name is Radia Barnes. I'm brand new to the community board as well as this committee. I'm excited to participate. Born and raised in Washington Heights, I'm right over there at Columbia Presbyterian. I work in DE&I, and so I'm just excited to get started.
Awesome, welcome, thank you so much for being
What,
here.
what did she work in?
DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. There are new acronyms. I'm an old guy. There are new acronyms.
Oh, you're good, you're good. Bruce, I know you're an OG in the board. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about you.
OG as an old guy. So I started in the business development as a public member, I guess about 5+ years ago with Shaw Ali, who was chairman. And then I spent a couple of years and enjoyed that. And Chair Eli Bueno asked me to switch over to Housing and Human Services, which I've been doing for a couple of years. And I enjoyed that too. But one of the reasons I requested to come back to business development is because I'm on the steering committee of the Cloth Broadway bid project with Jackie Tesman and Yvonne Stennett and Wayne Benjamin and a whole bunch of other people. And I felt my time was better, or my connection was better with your committee, and I appreciate you accepting me back in. I'm also on traffic and transportation, which is a whole other ball of wax, which is fun. So I really enjoy the community board, and thanks for having me back to business development. Thank you.
Man, thank you, Bruce, for being here. Yeah, we done a lot last year with Cloth and the new formation of the bid. In fact, part of our agenda is to talk about what the current process is. So maybe you can jump in and talk about that a little bit. But welcome back.
Jackie's on the call, so I'm going to defer to her because she's living it day to day, and we're having a meeting this upcoming week, so we'll keep you posted. But I'd be glad to take any questions anybody has from my perspective, or Wayne. Also, we're the community members, and thank you.
All right, thank you, Bruce. We have Hector Bonilla, who's joining us back on the committee. So welcome, Hector. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, everyone. Yes, thank you for the amazing introduction, Joel, and I'm sure it's going to be impossible to have a follow-up after Bruce. But how's it going, everyone? My name is Hector Bonilla. I was born and raised in Washington Heights. I volunteer extensively, and I currently work at UBS Financial Services, and I do investment banking, business development. I also volunteer with my high school foundation. I'm also on the junior board of directors of a nonprofit organization that helps with early career development for inner city kids. And I've been helping Joel with many initiatives that he started last year last year when we started a lot of things. So just happy to be here again. And I'm also on the land use committee. And I'll defer the mic back to Joel. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your work that you put in last year. We're gonna try to continue that and build off of it this year. Who else? I know I saw Carl. Carl, you there? Carl, are you there? Okay, so we'll circle back to you. Tanisha.
I'm here.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Carl?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just doing introductions. So just introduce yourselves, please.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Carl. I'm a member of this committee. I guess I have to say I am a returning member. And I was here last year in the committee. So I'm returning. I've been here for couple of years, more than 10 years in this neighborhood. And I have participated in other work, other activities in this community. And so, yeah, I'm very happy to serve on the board. I also serve on the licensing committee. And so this is good. My first meeting with you guys after the summer. And I apologize for not being able to be there in person, which I hope I will be doing in the forthcoming meetings. But yeah, so I'm glad to be on board, and yeah, let's have a good meeting.
Thank you so much, Carl. Welcome back. And thank you again for the work that you did last year. Tanisha Grant, welcome. I know you're a new member, a new committee member. So introduce yourself, please.
She's not a San Diego.
Hey everyone, my name is Tanisha Grant. I am a community organizer. I am born and raised in Washington Heights, but back when it was called Harlem is when I was born, honey. History and context makes a difference. Very happy to be here. I am a new community board member, but I am not on this committee. I am on housing and housing and health and education, youth and education. But if my schedule permits me, I will be attending all community board meetings and community board committee meetings that I can, because it's important. Right. And it's important that I show up for you guys and that I show up for the community. So anytime that I can be here, Joel, I will. Hey, community board members, and hi, community.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for attending our meeting. I know you're not a committee member, but hopefully you'll join us one day. Mr. Wayne Benjamin, always welcome. Introduce yourselves. You don't need an introduction, but go ahead.
Thank you, Joe. I guess if Bruce is an OG, then I'm an ROG, a real old guy. I've been on the community board, I think, since 2003, and I am not on this committee. I chair the land use committee, and for a while I was also on the public safety committee. I've lived in Washington Heights and Inwood for not quite 40 years, for like 36 years. And, before that I lived in East Harlem for maybe 25 years or so. And my family, I think, covers the waterfront uptown. We've lived in the community boards 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that's all of upper Manhattan. And, I recently, retired from, working on a number of architecture planning, community development roles, but continue to remain active. And one of my interests is, in fact, in business development, because years ago, that was part of my job responsibility.
Excellent. Well, you're always welcome to this committee. We appreciate your wealth of knowledge. I'm gonna start like this, right? So the Business Development Committee, so what it is I like to say it's a hub of information. It's where businesses, community members come and they're looking for resources, right? From programs to grants to legislation that's affecting the businesses within the community. This is what we're here for, right? To act like a mouthpiece, right? To disseminate information to the public, to make sure that anything that comes to the board is given out to them. That's what we're here for, to serve our community. So that's how I run the committee. And I welcome any information that you gather from the outside to bring it to me, to email it to me, just so we can make sure that it gets out and the word gets out. So that's what this is. So thank you all for introducing yourselves. Before I also start, I want to volunteer. And if I don't get one this time, it's okay. I'll ask again next month. I know it's a little late, and we were already started, but I volunteer to do the minutes.
Also, I usually bring my computer,
Okay.
but as long as you can send me the.
The record,
Yeah.
the recording?
Yeah.
That computer is available,
But just take notes and then.
to take notes,
Yeah.
you send it in email, it's up to you. It's there, it's their computer.
As long as you can use it.
Oh, yes. Oh, awesome.
Now. Okay, we'll get to it.
Yeah, I'll be there.
No,
Okay. All right, thank you, okay. Right, so before we start, I know the agenda is a little bit mixed up, and okay, yeah, that's fine, yeah, I like that. I'm sorry, give me a minute. So the agenda is a little bit mixed up. Well, we're gonna move along the agenda. We are gonna talk about the land night market now. But after that, I want to talk about some other things, not what you see on the agenda. So I'll let you guys know what it is. But first, let's talk about what our fall is gonna look like. Our fall is gonna be busy. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about budget items, the land night market, some regulations that are affecting our restaurants. And in the fall, in October, we're going to talk about budgets. We're gonna talk about it today, but we're gonna finalize in October. We're also gonna talk about the land night market today. It's in the middle of the month, so we're gonna talk about feedback in October as well. And later on in November, we're gonna talk about some regulations, and we're gonna also brush over today about outdoor dining. That was a hot topic throughout the summer. So just to tell you a little bit about, there's a lot of things that are gonna repeat throughout the fall. So I just wanted to let you guys know. But first and foremost, the land night market. Are we excited for the land night market? I know I am, right? So it's on the 22nd. I know before we left on break, it was supposed to be the week before, which was on the 15th, but there was some issues with the Jewish calendar. So I know that Marco, which is the organizer of the event, did move it a week. It's gonna start at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. It's gonna be from Payson to Stack. So it's about 2 blocks on Dykeman. He's bringing about 60 vendors, 60 to 80 vendors, 40% which are gonna be of the neighborhood. And so we're really excited. We spoke a lot about it in July of what this means to the neighborhood. It's gonna drive revenue just for the foot traffic alone, right? It's gonna drive revenue for the people participating too. These guys, like I mentioned in June, they have a lot of impressions on social media. So it's a huge thing on social media, anybody who's featured on there gets a bunch of followers, which is great for business. So I'm really excited and excited that they decided to come to Dykeman for this night market. Keep in mind that this is like a beta test. Usually the Uptown Night Market and the Bronx Night Market and the Vegan Night Market in Central Park are usually a series of events. And this one is just one. So he's testing the waters here in Uptown in Washington Heights and Inwood. Next year, he's going to start in the beginning of the summer and do kind of a series if this goes well. So we have to support this. This is great for our businesses. We signed the resolution in June supporting this, so I'm glad that this event is happening. Now, two things to mention. One, we need volunteers. Marco is and Beatrice, which is our our marketing partner, his marketing partner, and kind of our community outreach person, needs volunteers. So I want to reach out to the board. I know I want to be there. I'm going to volunteer for Marco on the 22nd. I just wanted to ask the committee.
That's a Friday.
That's a Friday, yeah, it's a Friday on the 22nd. So I'm asking the committee to see if there's any volunteers in the committee or any other members of the general board that are willing to volunteer.
Joel, quick question. Will there be shifts or do you have to start at 4 p.m.?
I don't know the details. I need to come up with a list for Beatrice and then forward it to her, and she's gonna tell me exactly what she needs. But the problem is that it is from 4 to 10. So those are the hours of the actual event. It's gonna be, he's expecting 15,000 people. So he needs all the help he can get. And we want this to be a good event. So if you decide to do volunteer, please email me. I will be there, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good food, so a good thing to do. So just email me if you are interested in it, okay? Another thing that I wanted to mention about the Latin Night Market is that right now, he's still looking for spots. There's spots available to fill for businesses. And we get a specific code. This committee gets a specific code that they can put input into the application. And this code kind of like highlights them that it was us that recommended this business to him. So this is really good for an opportunity to increase sales, get their name out there. It's a great marketing strategy for businesses. So if you know any businesses in the neighborhood that want to apply for this is the time to do it. All you need is one viral video, and it can go well for you.
And so what is the code?
The code is, I have the code for you here. Give me 1 second. The code is CBA.
CBA,
Yeah, CBA LN.
LN, oh, like Larry and like Nancy.
Yeah, M like Mary.
Mhm.
23. And you guys should have gotten the email from the board. And with a link, a hyperlink to send out this application. It's a very simple application. It's not it doesn't involve like, hey, what type of licenses do you have, or like what type of square footage do you need? It kind of gets complex, but nothing out of the ordinary. Just know that they do charge per space. So for the base price is 500, which is a 10 by 10 space. And then for every 5 feet of space is $100 more. And anytime you need a grill is $100. So the cost can add up, but it is an investment. And you get to be a part of this event. But it's a great opportunity. So if you know any businesses that want to participate in this, please implore them to apply.
I
Okay.
encourage a couple people.
How many, Joe?
Go ahead, Carl. I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Yeah, how many folks are you expecting? Like, what's the available space right now with respect to possible participants? How many more spots are available still?
This is a live application, so people are going in and out, so I don't know the exact number right now.
Because I mean, you said obviously the capacity, is limited, it's not unlimited. So
Right.
I just want to know, I mean, what percentage of spots are still available?
It's a rolling basis, so I don't know exactly, who's in and who's out. I could reach
Okay.
out to Marco to see where he's at now. But don't let that discourage you from encouraging others to apply.
Okay, one more thing. So is it like a monthly thing or is it?
So this one is just gonna be this month, right? It's
Okay,
in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, it's gonna be this month only, but this is like a trial run. For next
okay,
year,
all right,
okay?
thank you.
You're welcome. Now, any other questions that we have for the land nine market is, I'm excited for that. Any questions?
Are they giving any special rates? So let's say people that are really starting out, like new entrepreneurs.
No, I don't think so. I think it's kind of standard all the way through. I mean, I know that he's getting preferential treatment if you come from this neighborhood, right? So he's getting a large lot, 40% of the vendors there should be from this neighborhood. So maybe that's an upper hand that businesses have, especially if you're new. But yeah. So any other questions that we have? Okay, good. So we talked about what our fall will look like, and the land night market. So this fall, this summer, I did some research. I got to talk to a lot of people in the business space, and one of the most interesting subjects that I came across is Perscolas. And excuse me, Christina, if I am not pronouncing that right. But we got to meet, me and Christina, and it's a great opportunity to train in technology. Technology is a huge field, cybersecurity, what AI is now, and also software, hardware. All this training is done per Scholas, and per Scholas has a focus. I know it recently ended this focus on this neighborhood, but it's something that the people in the community can take advantage of. So I'm gonna give it away to Christina.
Thank you so much, Joel. I just wanted to ask you, Joel, could you also add Debbie Roman as a panelist? She's joining.
Sure, gotcha, right.
And then I can't share my screen. Do you want to share the slides I sent you, or do you want to give me
Sure.
permission?
Give you permission.
Hey, Debbie.
Okay, you should be able to do that now.
Okay, perfect.
Hey Debbie, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Can you guys see the slide deck?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joel. So let's start with just brief introduction. So my name is Christina. I work for Perscolas New York, and starting tomorrow, actually, I am the Senior Director for Recruitment and Admissions at Perscolas New York. Today, I'm a Director of Partnerships, and I'm here today with my Managing Director, Debbie Roman. So Debbie, do you want to say a few words?
Absolutely. Thank you, Christina. So thank you everyone for having us here and allowing us to talk a little bit about the work that we do. As Christina mentioned, I am Debbie Roman. I am the proud Managing Director of Perscolas New York. So I have the privilege of working both with Christina and the team to be able to ensure that we bring Perscolas training to communities that need it the most all across the 5 boroughs. So excited to be able to talk about the work that we do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie. And thank you so much for having us today. So as Joel said, so this is we were in a partnership with UMass, the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone, for a year, and this initiative just ended, but it's not like, so the funding ended, but the initiative hasn't ended. So we're still like working closely with the community in Upper Manhattan to enroll more Upper Manhattan residents into our training program. So we got the chance today to walk you through our program, our offerings, and to answer any questions that you might have. And also if there are any new connections that you could help us with, we would love that as well, of course. So starting off, so this is our mission statement. So we're a national workforce nonprofit. We were founded in South Bronx 25 years ago, and we still have our national headquarters in the South Bronx. Today we have 2 campuses of our own, one in Central Brooklyn and one in South Bronx. And then we have, through very close community partnerships, we work actually in all boroughs right now. So that's very exciting. And as I said, so this initiative that we had this last year, it was together with Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone. And they were an amazing partner to us, and so they work closely with us in connecting us to their network and to fund this initiative for us. And so the goal of this initiative we have was to develop local recruitment pipelines with local community-based organization in the community. So that's the community districts 9 to 12. And we developed close relationship with 3 different community-based organizations, and that being NIMIC, Urban Upbound, and Community Impact. And I think of those 3 organizations, NIMIC is in Community Board 12th District. And the targets that we had through this work was to connect 65 Upper Manhattan residents into our training programs. And then we have our KPIs that we have for all our training at Preschola. So we have an 85% graduation rate, we have 80% job attainment within a year of graduation, and 75% of graduates to retain a job for a year. So how did we do? So we weren't actually able to reach the target. So I think we enrolled around 50 learners, but we're still working on reaching the target. But as I said, the work with UMass is over, but we're working closely with NIMIC, Urban Upbound, and Community Impact. So we have our programs in 21 cities across the nation. So far, 20,000 individuals have been trained by Preschola. So we have a very big alumni pool. And we envision a tech workforce as diverse as the customer it serves. Let's see. And here again are some of our KPIs. So as it is now, 83% of the learners nationally that we enroll in our programs graduate from our programs. 85% earns 1 industry certification, and 80% retain employment for 1 year. And a few words about our program model. So we work very closely with our employer partners. So we have closely with our employer partners on developing the curriculum, but also to work at the end of the training programs to place our learners in jobs with our employer partners. So 4 days a week is technical training, and 1 day a week is professional development training. So with us, like, the professional development is as important as the technical training, because by experience over these 25 years, we've seen that our learners need to develop the soft skills as well as the hard skills to be able to success and keep a job. And we're always adding this slide to presentations because this kind of shows the commitment that we make to our learners. So on average, like, a training with us is between 10 to 15 weeks. And of course, it's not a very long time. So the training is very intense. It's a boot camp style of training. But then after the training is over, we commit to our learners for up to 2 years. So within those 2 years, all the graduates can connect with our alumni engagement team, and they do provide training outside of, like, evening and weekends, so that graduates can keep their job but continue to upskill and progress in their career. And they can also connect with our different teams that they've been working with throughout the training. So we have job developers connected to each class. We have coaches connected to each class. And the minimum qualifications to apply for a training is that you need to be 18 years and older. You need to have a passion for technology. You need to have a high school diploma or equivalent. You need to be a US citizen or authorized to work in the US. You need to be able to attend classes full-time, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I think this is sometimes the biggest barrier for learners in our programs. That's asking a lot of someone to be in class full-time and also have put in time after over the weekend and evenings for homework and labs and so forth. They also need to pass assessments and the interviews. So depending on training track, there are different assessments that they need to pass. And we also have like a pre-training income policy criteria that varies depending on the household size. But these are kind of the basic eligibility requirements that someone needs to meet to be able to apply for our training programs. And another criteria is actually that they need to live within the 5 boroughs of New York City. So they need to be in New York City and New York City citizens. And this is our different teams that we have. So we have the tech instruction team that are working closely with the learners 4 days a week. We have the career development teams, and those are the career coaches paired up with each class working on the soft skills development. We have our business solutions team. They are the team who meets the learners at the end of the training. They work closely with them one-on-one, and we have a career portal with job openings that they connect learners to. We have the alumni engagement team. They work closely with the learners after they graduate from our program. And we also have a team that we call the learner support team, and that's a team, they are the social workers of the scholars, they're and financial coaches. So they work one-on-one with learners who has a need for extra support to be successful in training and also after they graduated from our programs. So just looking at our different training tracks. So we have 4 training tracks here in New York City. And I just want to emphasize that all training is with no cost for the learner. So we pay for everything during the learning. We pay for the certification test at the end of the training. So this is our most fundamental training course, the IT support training. It's an in-person training. So it's a 12-week training. So the goal for the learner is, of course, to get the CompTIA A+ certification. And you can see here like the different topics included in the training, and also at the end of the slide, what type of employment opportunities that the learners can be connected with after this training. So a person applying for the IT support training, they don't need to have any previous experience in IT. So this could be for anyone who has an interest, a passion, or curious. A lot of our learners are people that are transitioning into a new career, like they want to try something new. I think the average age of a pre-scholars learner is around 30 or 31 years old. So it's often they've had a career in some field and they want to try something new. So this is often where they start, like the IT support. You don't need to have any previous experience. If you have some experience, it doesn't need to be from the workplace. It could be from like a YouTube, like a boot camp training that you took on your own, or just that you have like an interest and you have explored on your own. You can apply to cybersecurity training. So as you can see, it's a bit longer training. It's a 15-week training. It's the same kind of setup. That's 4 days technical training and 1 day professional development training. And at the end of these 15 weeks, all learners are able to test and see if they can certify and get the CISA Plus certification. If you don't have any previous experience, if your experience is just from like your own like research around cybersecurity, you will have to start like working in an entry-level position and then kind of work your way up. So as I said, we have our business solutions team, and they work closely with all the learners, and they work with them on their first job, but also the second job and third job. So you can kind of like work on your career progression together with us. You don't need to stay in your first job. Like the thought behind this is to move on in your career together with us. And then we have 2 other training programs, software engineering, and we have a cloud program. So those are more advanced courses. So you need to have some previous experience. Those are also courses that we offer remote, not in person. But the assessment goes through us here in New York City. And as we said, so Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 is class hours. 4 days is dedicated to technical training. 1 day is dedicated to professional development. And then we have additional support for any learner who meets any barriers and needs more support to succeed in the program. And we ask around 15 to 20 hours a week of individual study time outside of class hours. And then I just wanted to share, so like before this work that we did with Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone. So it started August of last year and it just ended now in July. So I think over these 12 months, I think that we had 14 learners that enrolled in our training programs from this community district. And we had 8 of them complete training program. I think the majority of the learners, they took the IT support training. We had a few of them in the cybersecurity training as well. And we are committed to continue to do this work in Upper Manhattan and reaching out and creating those community relationships. So if there's any way you can facilitate any new connections or advise us in any way, that would be amazing. I don't know, Debbie, if you want to say a few words.
No, I just, you went through, thank you, Christina, for working through this. For us, it's important to really, like Christina mentioned, it was the beginning of us really getting familiarized with the neighborhoods that we can really impact. And we've learned a lot about what are some of the needs and being able to provide Perscolas training or bring Perscolas trainings to the community. So being able to learn from all of you and identify which other partners we should partner with and collaborate with to bring Perscolas to them. We can really appreciate very much as we continue to expand our purpose. As Christina mentioned, we've been around for over 25 years, and our goal is to unlock individuals' potential and really change the face of technology, and being able to have those individuals that otherwise would not see themselves working in this industry to really find a pathway, one that's meaningful, that is of growth. We truly believe in that, not only first job, but the second and third job. So really giving them those options. So I appreciate anything and everything that you can do. Again, we've really enjoyed having this presence in the community and look forward to expanding our work within the district. So thank you so much. I see a hand up, Lane.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you so much, Christina. This is a great program that allows people to go into an emerging market and really learn. Hey, I got a question there from Wayne.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, and I agree with you, Joel. This is a great program. You mentioned earlier in the presentation that you were looking to recruit 65 trainees. I guess that was via your partnership with UMass, but you only got 50 and you're looking to recruit more. So how can we help you with that? I mean, if we know if people are interested, is there a way to refer them directly to Perscolas? And additionally, you mentioned the funding or the partnership with UMass ended in July. Are you pursuing other partnerships with organizations that do community and economic development in Upper Manhattan so that you can continue to provide that service?
Yeah, that's a great question. When yes, we are continuing to work with the 3 organizations that we developed the partnerships with during this year. So Urban Upper, NIMIC, and Community Impact. So we work closely with them. We offer our services to them. We have partnership meetings throughout the year scheduled already. And if you have someone that you know in an organization, or if it's an individual, you could always connect them with us. You can provide us with our information afterwards.
Okay, that would be great. Because I was speaking to someone a few months ago about cybersecurity, and they said they were looking at Perscolas, but they didn't know if there was, any opportunity to enroll. And it sounds like there certainly was, but maybe they just didn't connect with the 3 organizations you're working with. But if they know you, maybe they can just connect with you directly.
they can connect with us directly. And we have every week we have admissions overviews that kind of goes through and breaks down all our training programs. It's every Tuesday. So that's an open that any community member can sign up for and join and listen to an hour of information before signing up.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes, Alexis.
So I was just curious, and forgive me because I'm kind of late to the show here, so it said that there was an income criteria.
Yeah, exactly. There's an income criteria. So we're following the HUD's income criteria. I don't know, Debbie, if you know exactly the.
We have a list, and we request income criteria just for us to ensure that we're serving individuals within the poverty line, and low income and underserved communities. So that's our goal. But because we are in 20 cities across the country, we do focus specifically in the market. So we can share the list of what that looks like for us in New York
And I have another
in terms of household and income. Based on that.
So then, so it's for free, you have to meet the HUD income, correct?
Yes.
Since it takes up so much time, does anybody, especially, who's coming out of, certain situations, it's a lot of time, do they get any honorariums for attending?
What do they get for attending?
I mean, I know they get the training, but.
Like a stipend?
Yeah, is there a stipend?
No.
Keep asking if there's a stipend or.
Okay.
Because if it's a lower income
Right.
community and it's a HUD, that's a lot of time to put in while keeping a job,
Right,
or, because you really can't.
you can't, right, so you're
So-
still focused on the courses themselves.
Yeah,
So yeah, Alexis' question is there a
Yeah.
stipend? Some sort of like, a monetary.
Incentive, yeah.
To get into this program.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we don't have a stipend in our training program. So that's why it is a big ask for someone to sign up for like a 3-month program. And so I think we do ask all the applicants to kind of think through their finances before they enroll to see that they have a way of making it through the 3 months as they are in training. And also I also want to add, like, it also takes a couple of months to be placed in their first job. So the training is 3 months, but then it could actually be like it takes 3 months to get your first employment after you've complete the training program.
And during that process, because we understand that we do have a high expectation, but we don't provide the financial stipend. We do have staff that support is the learner support team that which has MSWs on staff as well as financial coaches to connect them to resources while they're in the program. Again, it doesn't alleviate the expectation of financial while they're in the program, but we do connect them to resources if needed. Like, for example, if there's a food pantry or SNAP benefits or anything like that, we do have staff on board, individuals on staff that do help them navigate through that process as they walk into the program. So they get additional support.
so I'm sorry, I'll promise my last question.
No, it's
Do you
okay.
work with any programs like the Dell Fund, who, have people living in transitional housing, et cetera, but, that could use this type of thing? Have you approached them at all?
Yeah, we did, and actually in this work, we did reach out to a lot of the Upper Manhattan organizations, and we're trying to form these partnerships, and also with organizations that provided those type of services. We weren't able to form any formal partnerships, but we're open to working with those organizations as well, of course.
So, maybe, we'll connect you guys.
Yeah.
Reach out to them, do they work, Alexis?
So they're all over the city, so they have some transitional housing, but they have affordable housing, so that if like I'm working with now in my building, I got him a job as a security guard, he lives there, right? He has to do work with on-point harm reduction, like 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. Then, he's working for my building as a night doorman on the weekends. But a kid like him was like 23. What happened to him was not in life was not his fault at all. And so that's what kind of people in the Joe Fund are there. So that's why I'm asking. So Joe Fund, does everything kind of soup to nuts for people who have had various issues and need a leg up.
Yeah, definitely the training I could see it helping
Yeah.
people in that program. Maybe just put your email there and I'll forward it to Alexis too. Just so she can connect with
Yeah.
someone in the dope market. Thank you. I appreciate it. Anyone else have questions?
Tanisha, I think is.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. I have a few thoughts and a couple of questions. Okay, so I hear that you guys said that y'all working with community-based organizations, but our ideas of community-based organizations may be a little different. My idea of community-based organization is probably like organization that is not a nonprofit or has a fiscal sponsor. Like that to me is community-based organizations. And as one, I want to ask about digital equity. This is a technology program. This is teaching people how to do things on the computer. We have a big problem with digital equity with our community members having their own laptop, having access to Wi-Fi in their house. So I want to know what you're doing about that. But it's a two-part question because I also want to know when you asked about, I appreciate you guys coming here and, asking us to, if we have any community partners that we can refer to you, because it's just so interesting. I give children and community members computers, over 700. And we're a community-based organization, Parents Supporting Parents New York. We're the people who get the calls at 12 o'clock at night when community members need help. So what are you doing to partner with people such as I, who is out here providing digital equity to community members, to children, to, seniors in high school and things of that nature? Because I just think of 10 people that I could refer to you off top. So I think it's very important that you remember that, nonprofits and community-based organizations is really two different entities. And you really need to come in the community and speak to community organizers such as myself that talk to these people that would be interested in this program every day. I'm gonna leave it there.
Thank you so much, Tanisha. And that is really a great question. I think it's not only this is not only a New York City issue, but it's a reality that everyone faces even after the pandemic. It has resurfaced the fact that there is lack of digital equity across the board. So with that said, we do have some resources internally to really assist our learners when they are enrolled in navigating with these type of challenges. If an individual that has expressed interest, has gone through the process, the aspect of having accessibility to digital equity or digital information like the Wi-Fi connectivity or even a proper laptop, because we do have our program runs on specific speeds. It's all web-based, but it does require certain expectations or specs in the laptop. So we do ask questions once they are enrolled and assess what would those needs be. And we work very closely with them to eliminate those barriers. Our commitment is to really eliminate barriers and really be able to open up what the opportunities can be. Having said that, we do have a Loaners Tech program that if an individual is in the program and does need Wi-Fi or does need a laptop that allows them to complete the work at home, we do that. We do provide and supply those so hearing from you, that's phenomenal, because if there is room that we can work together and really create that pathway and connection, and it's sort of like it takes a village, right? We can't do this work alone, hence why this opportunity to present to all of you is important, because we understand the value of partnering and strategic partnerships that really eliminates those barriers. We've learned a lot through this pandemic that we can't do this work alone. We're not only experts in the things that we do, and that is in providing instruction and technical and preparing individuals for careers in technology and getting them those certification and stackable credentials that will get them to that career. So coming together as a community will really allow us to really expand on that reach for those individuals that can benefit from something like Perscola. So really would love to connect with you, explore how we can work together on that aspect. But yes, we are committed to continuing to eliminate barriers for access to technology.
I agree 100% that this is a great opportunity, and this is why we're doing this, right? So Tanisha, let's connect you with Debbie and Christina, and maybe some of your the people that you help by providing laptops can also get into this program, right? And they can do a laptop and also this program. So I think this is why we do this, to connect people like this program and you. So awesome. Debbie, I recommend, and also Christina, put your information on the chat. Tanisha, please communicate with them and let's connect some of these individuals that need help. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys and presenting this. It's awesome. Thank you so much for the work that you do.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, just to and that was great. Just to move the agenda along, I want to talk about two things. The first thing I want to talk about is, as I mentioned before, Christina and Debbie presented. I went and I visited certain offices during the summer. One of the offices that I visited was the Small Business Services office, and I met with a specific team. And I want to give them a shout out to Angel Pagan and the whole Small Business Express team that the SBS has, and that started about a year ago from today. I know it was in September of last year. So basically what they do is they're basically like a traveling consulting group that basically visits and does like walkthroughs through different neighborhoods. They did a walkthrough this summer of Washington Heights and Inwood, and basically they're there to talk about compliance, permits, violations, anything that business owners needs, and that usually the SBS, they'll go to the SBS for help. They will answer, and if they don't answer it, they have a go-to point man. So just a quick shout out to them, to the Business Express service team. They're doing a great job. And please be on the lookout. They are planning to do a walkthrough of Washington Heights and Inwood. So you guys can come on. I'm going to be on the next one. Couldn't be on the previous one back in July, but I will be doing one with them soon. So just wanted to quickly mention that to you. Now on to I think it was the summer hit. So August 16th, Mayor Adams signed into law permanently outdoor dining. We gotta clap it up. This is a big W for our small businesses. This is huge, right? Out of all the things that came out of the pandemic, this is probably one of the most positive things that came out, right? Businesses were able to create not permanently fixed structure, but a structure right outside their establishment and create traffic, right? Let their customers enjoy the outside while they're dining at their restaurant. So yes, it's going to change, and I want to share with you guys what this looks like. And it's just a great thing, right? It's going to be more streamlined. It's going to be more, I guess, what exactly could you do and could you not do? And we here at the committee need to communicate this. We need to be sure about what is going on with this. So I reached out to NYC Hospitality, which is a trade group that connects a wide variety of restaurants, and they connected me to one of the lawyers that was working on this legislation, which was great. And I got to sit down and talk to him, and he shared great insights. And I wanted for him to come on and speak to us today. but he told me he was a little bit premature. His name is, I believe his name is Andrew, Robert, excuse me. I just want to pronounce that right, Robert Bookman. He's an attorney for Paseski and Bookman for the NYC Hospitality Group. And he kind of oriented me on what's going on, and he kind of gave me a list of things which I'm going to show to you guys. But he told me it was a little bit premature because DOT has not come up with regulations. And some of those regulations are going to come out maybe mid-October or late October. So there's another thing that's going to happen in the fall. We're going to invite him on and kind of orient us on what exactly is going on with outdoor dining. But for now, we have a couple of things that I want to highlight. Let me just share my screen here. All right. Okay, so this is some of the things. And I'm not gonna go through all of it. I'm gonna forward this, guys. So some of the things that changed is gonna be seasonal. So it's gonna be from April through November, which is kind of what was happening now. And now there's gonna be an outdoor dining license fee that they could apply for 4 years. There's gonna be a fee depending on how big your space, outdoor space is. And then there's fees for roadway dinings, and this they kind of just formalized it. It was kind of like this came from an emergency act from being indoors through COVID, and they kind of just formalized it, which is great. There is a little small stipulations, and there's going to be more regulations when DOT comes out with theirs. But here are the hours of operation. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to midnight. And then first-time violators will get an opportunity to cure it with no fine. So we have a structure and you just put it down, or you're not following the guidelines, you get a chance. But it's a great, I just suggest that I'm gonna forward this to the committee and to the general board, just so we can get a general understanding of what's going on with outdoor dining. Shout out to the NYC Hospitality Alliance, they're doing great work by putting this together. So, and just let your restaurant owners know that things are gonna change. Things already changed. So if you notice here, says non-compliant structures must be removed. This is our date right here. Right here, November 1st, 2024. So it gives us a year, some months to tell our constituents, say, let's adapt to the new regulation. So we will be waiting for Mr. Roberts to come on and explain to us the DOT regulations, but for now we have this. Any questions about the two things that I just mentioned? Okay, great. Okay, great. So just to move the agenda along, this is our discussion segment of the committee meeting, and I want to discuss two things. The first thing that I want to discuss is and then Hector can speak about this, and so can Carl, and I'm sure Wayne has been in a couple meetings that we discussed this. Is our business development committee quarterly resource guide. So when I first became a member, I was 28 years old. I wanted to start my business. I wanted to go to the board and find an abundant amount of resources, access to grants, legal advice. And I did find it, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of scattered everywhere. Different community-based organizations were doing some things and certain CDFIs were doing other things, and there was no common place. There was no sheet that I can look at and look at all the list of things and resources that I have here in my community. So here at the committee, our biggest project and what our focus will be on in this fall is to create a resource guide. And this resource guide is going to comprise, and I have a kind of a project outlines that I'll show you guys in a minute. Comprised of different community-based organizations. Off the top of my head, CLAW, right? Community League of the Heights, the Washington Heights BID, Dominican American Chamber of Commerce, the New York City Women Chamber of Commerce, Sherman Creek Association. All these organizations do great things for our businesses. UMass, First Scholars, right? Even private entities like Verizon and Con Ed that, well, Con Ed is semi-private. So different organizations that do great things for our community, that have a focus in our community. We want to be able to have it on one sheet, right? On a booklet. So this is going to be a newsletter that's going to be quarterly. Obviously, we want this to be a living document, right? Easily to edit, put things in, put things out. And this is going to be one of our focus. So I submitted a project outline and a project request to the office, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get a fellowship to work on this project for us, which will be great, right? There's somebody to do that research for us, even though we've done a little bit of research of last year and this year, but just kind of format it for us in a way that's easy to read, have logos, and I want to get input from the committee. What type of organizations do you want on this resource guide? And off the top of your head, can you name any? And you know, anybody can chime in.
I'm sorry, so Washington Heights BID, is that also the same as Chamber of Commerce?
No, so it's different. So the Washington Heights BID is one organization. It's a business improvement district in Washington Heights. And then we have CLAW,
Yeah.
right? We have the Dominican American Chamber of Commerce. We have the New York City Women Chamber of Commerce. We have the Sherman Creek Association. We have UMass, right? The Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone. And I have also a few others. Give me a second. I have the proposal here. So yeah, so I have also it can be government agencies like the SBS, right? SBS on a local level, right? We have the Division of Small Businesses on the state level. And we have the SBA on a federal level. We also have like trade groups, like we just saw now, the New York City Hospitality Group Alliance, excuse me, is one of those trade groups. We also have the New York State Land Restaurant Association, which is a great research that we could tap into. All these organizations, all these community-based organizations, they're kind of scattered, right? They're doing great work, but our job is kind of to bring them all together and put them in one format, a newsletter that can go out to maybe a database that we can get or print it out and give it to different business owners. So that's our focus. All these resources need to get out. Look at how First Scholars have 15 spots available, right? And this is something that people can be taking advantage of that don't. So that's my goal. Hopefully we get a fellow to come in and help me with the research. But I just want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what organizations you guys have in mind that help businesses in our community, or not just in our community, right? But also kind of our community has specific sectors or industries that they're in. What if you have an organization that helps that sector, right? Like bodega association or supermarket association. We want all those resources pooled into one, and that's what we're here for. But I want to hear from you guys. You have any organizations that you guys have in mind?
Well, we work with the EDC, right?
Hmm.
The Economic Development, we work with the, I work with Harlem, Community Development, a lot, Curtis Archer, so do you work with, them as well? Because they take care of, it's not just Harlem, it's Upper Manhattan.
Okay, and what's the name of that?
Harlem Community Development. It's an offshoot of the New York City,
Okay.
of the New York State.
I know there's one that, I think it's. I have it here, which is the Washington Heights Development Corporation.
And this is, this is.
This is
Harlem,
Harlem.
Yeah. I'll send that to you.
Yeah, send that to me and we can include that, right? We usually want to gather as much resources as possible.
And the director is Curtis Archer, I could play down some song.
Yes,
If you wanted.
yes.
Wayne used to work for them,
Oh,
but he's not on the call anymore.
okay. Great. Thank you. So yeah, that's our program. If you have any organization that you bump into, send it my way. We
Well,
wanted-
Washington Heights and Inwood Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, yes, I forgot to mention, I have it on my list. Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great.
You know, it's interesting you say this because when I was on Housing and Human Services, we worked on a proposal for a database that was a active platform for community resources, and we presented it to the Manhattan Borough President's office, and it kind of got sidelined about a year or two ago. But there are various technology platforms that are community-based resource information that you just plug in, because a static thing like you're talking about, a PDF, in my opinion, is we debated that, and Aisha Ogilvy, who was on our committee at the time, she's a tech person, and you know, she was into it, and I pushed it, and Marielle Ali, I think you may want to talk to Marielle Ali and see where that went, because it kind of died on the vine, but it's exactly what you're talking about. It's a dynamic resource that people can log on to a website and plug in whatever keywords they want, you know, for assistance. It's broader than what you're saying, but it's still in the same scope of having resources access for everybody in the community.
I think that the reason why I would opt out to a PDF, here's why, because having a resource that you have to log on to, and have a username, I think it also gets lost. It gets lost, you know, it ends up in the spam, or you don't log on to it often. As a business owner, you're busy running your day-to-day, right? You're not gonna go and say, hey, you know.
Okay, I hear you. But let me pull up that proposal that we developed and send it to you, and maybe we can work something out, because you're right. A lot of our small merchants don't use email every day. They need something handed to them on a piece of paper. So yeah, there's a lot of connections here that maybe we can develop further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruce. That would be great. I'll connect with Mariella Lee and see if there's anything that I can get from her. And let me know about that proposal. Send it to me. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, I'll dig it up and I'll send it to you. Thank you.
Hector.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can.
Just echoing, you know, your sentiment. If you need any help at all, Joel, please feel free to leverage me. I'm more than happy to help out with this front. But maybe a more amicable solution for both Bruce and your solution will be having maybe two sources, possibly, like the PDF for the newsletter and maybe an online platform that we keep alive, like you said. And I'm more than happy to connect with you offline on that, and I'm more than happy to help again.
Definitely. I've been developing the database that, you know, names and organizations for the past couple months, but yes, I think both is a great solution. I don't think we should limit ourselves to just one.
Right. Of course, it'll be the same information, so I'm pretty sure it won't be that much of a lift. But again, I'm happy to help with that, Joel.
Thank you, Hector. I appreciate that. Any other things we want to talk about that when it comes to the resource guide?
Have you ever done it like, well, I know it's been hard, but would you ever do like a live event, a community event? An event that you can do, you know,
No, like an event in,
like for entrepreneurs to meet some of these resources.
no, but maybe it'll be a great thing.
That might be helpful.
Yeah, I think that once we develop like the database, it'll be easier for us to
Down the line, you know.
connect all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Also, apart from the research guide, and maybe this is like kind of phase 2 is developing a network of our business owners. And kind of, this is kind of a segue to our next item. And it's the budget. But yes, Alex, let's do that. I like that idea. Anything else before I go into the budget? Okay. All right, see none, let's move the agenda along. So let's talk about the budget. And you know, again, this is our discussion. This is what I want input. Last year, when we put in our recommendations for the budget, and before I go into that, I'll tell you guys what the budget looks like for people who don't know. But last year, our priority was pretty low. It's because we really didn't have a grasp on what we really needed, but I think that this year is going to be much different. But so there's 2 types. And Bruce, I'm gonna need your help because you know I'm still learning the ropes. But there's an expense budget, and there is also a capital budget. And the difference between the 2 is that one, the expense budget is, you know, day-to-day operations. You know, it's funded by the city's taxes, and it's usually smaller than capital budget items. Capital budget items are long-term projects. It can be construction projects, purchase of large equipment, construction, sewers, parks, buildings, are all types of capital budgets. So we want to come up with a list. So how the budget process is that from now to October and to our next meeting, we have to come up with kind of a list, and we have to give that list a priority to forward it to the general board, and then the general board will vote on their priority or our priority to the different committees. So we'll come up with a list, give it a priority from 1 to like, let's say 3 or 4 on both capital and expenses, and we'll give it to the general board. Now, the general board has things from parks and cultural fairs and licensing, and then they vote on all these budget items. Hopefully we land somewhere at the top, so you know, it can be passed and we can get funding for whatever we request. But that's how the process is. So right now, what I want is to hear, and I have a few suggestions of what we want to see in the expense budget. And we want to hear some recommendations on what you guys think our business owners need, and that we can propose to the general board. And you know, it could be anything. Last year, what we proposed is we gave a couple things. So for our expense budget, you know, we did marketing support, Spanish speaking health inspectors. We did a training and capacity hub. We also did funding for our resource guide. So these are some of the things that we can discuss, and that we can request from for the budget. So does anybody have an idea before I share mine about some of the capital ideas or expense ideas? No? Hector, Bruce,
Is there a business,
Sorry.
give me a second.
is
Hector.
there a weatherization program for business?
What is that?
Like to make sure that, things are insulated, so, they'll save money on heating and air conditioning bills when the windows are properly sealed.
Just thinking about it off the bat, there's Con Edison has a program like that. That they spoke about it last year, but that's a good one. Weathering, weatherization. Buildings, so maybe a fund for it. Good, like that. Bruce.
So one of the issues that I'm experiencing with some of my retailer friends in my neighborhood are lease negotiations, because all of a sudden, since COVID now, buildings are being sold, new landlords are taking over. It's a family member, it's a younger, whatever, member of the family, and they want to jack up the rents. And my neighborhood retailer is saying, I went from $6,000 a month, now I'm at 10,000 all in because it's a triple net lease. And what the hell am I going to do? And one of the suggestions is the George Washington Bridge Marketplace, is sort of half empty, but we've done in the past, and so has the chamber done, lease negotiation seminars, consulting. That's a really biggie right now because real estate is really screwed up. Everything is going up through the roof, and expenses are going through the roof. And these little guys just don't have any help, or they don't know where to turn. So that's my 2 cents.
I totally agree with you, Bruce. And I know the SPS has a negotiation platform that they use, that, they offer the service to small businesses, but I don't think that is enough. I think that we need, sort of like how we have it in the residential side, kind of like a forgiveness or grants because we don't have this program here in the city where, how residents can apply for kind of like funding for their rent. Maybe we could do it more on the commercial side where we can ask the city, allocate some funds for forgiveness of rent or for some time to provide.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I was talking to Al Taylor a couple of weeks ago, and he said one of the things they're thinking about is some kind of legislation to force landlords to make these empty store spaces available to more people for pop-ups, because the landlords are warehousing some of these spaces. They're waiting for the the economy to get better and so forth. And then they're socking it to the guys who are already in business, and it's just really imbalanced.
Yeah, so let's add, and this is again, kind of like a rough draft. Next meeting, I'm gonna come up with, depending on what we talk about, kind of formalize this. So,
It's, landlord negotiation, which the small or the small retailer, the bodega, they don't want to hire an attorney. They want to do it themselves. Well, they get screwed if they don't, but they need help from legal aid or whatever. And we need to be able to guide them and put them in touch with somebody at legal aid and I've done that. It's just a communication thing that's tricky.
okay, so we have landlord negotiation to increase the budget on that. And also commercial rent relief. And then also gathered from that budget item to kind of enforce or not force, or I think you said incentivize landlords to use, storefronts that are not being occupied.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the big box store to come in and take up 3 spaces. So when a lease comes due, and if the bodega doesn't want to renew at 30% increase, it's like, yeah, okay, we'll just take it off record and then wait till a Dwayne Reed wants to come along or something like that. I mean, it's happened on the Upper West Side. It's happening to us for years now, and we just got to do something about it if we can.
So maybe they can subsidize it instead of like, or put incentives for landlords to rent out.
Well, Gail Burr is a big proponent of this because she's been tracking empty storefronts along Broadway for the past forever. And it's like 30% or more. I don't even know the latest statistic, but she's really big on this whole thing. And there was legislation and so forth. So we can have a further conversation about it. But yeah, you're right. Empty storefronts need to be activated to promote more business up here, but the businesses need some kind of subsidy.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Bruce. We got a lot there. Yeah. So anything else? Hector, do you have anything in mind?
From the past, what type of expenses or capital expenses that we submitted to the larger committee that got approved, out of curiosity?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know, honestly. Usually, we don't get really high from the time I've been here for 3 years. But I want to change that, and but how we're gonna change that is by getting good ideas, not like a long range of ideas, but good short ideas. Maybe like 4 or 5 items that we can give to the general board. But historically, I don't know.
We have last year's budget compilation.
Have it here.
Ebenezer or somebody's got it, and they can send it to us because in there it lists every committee's rankings and which ones came out on top and so forth. So that's been recorded every year. You should. Who was the chair before you, Joel?
It was Francisco.
So Francisco may have some information about that. Maybe you want to dig it up and send it to us because I'm new on the committee, but I don't know what the rankings were last year. But it's a recorded document. It's engraved, in the records for the community board.
I have it here, Bruce. I have it. It's just a lot to read through right now, and they just gave it to me before the meeting, but.
No, I get it. But send it to us and we'll go over it, please.
Yeah.
The ranking determined.
Through vote. They vote, we all rank the budget items, and then there's a determination on what goes first, and what gets priority.
So what we did in the housing was we set up a Google spreadsheet where we listed all of the options and everybody went in and voted and so forth. And that might be helpful for us now.
Yeah, and we will do this, we will do that next week. I mean, not next week, next month. I just want to share my ideas. Okay. So. Okay, so one of the things that we had last year was we wanted, so there's SBS has a business solution center. Although we have Workforce One here in 181st, we don't have a solution center here in Washington Heights. I want one here, and that's a capital expense, right? That means that they will have to create a whole other office. There's not one, not in the Bronx, not in Harlem, it's all the way in Queens. They only have one. And I want them to expand it to at least 2 offices, right? Like I'm a small business owner and I want to, help from the SBS, want to go to an office. Some people don't have emails, don't want to go back and forth or call. I want to create some urgency in the SBS to open up another office. It would be nice to have it here in Washington Heights, but just uptown, something more accessible. So that's. We had it last year in the budget, but I think that we should have it again this year, since it wasn't funded. So that's one of my ideas. I also have another idea where the SBS again had a fund, it's called the Opportunity Fund. I don't know if anybody was aware of it. This Opportunity Fund was for startups. There was no credit needed. And it ranged from, I think it was like 50,000 to 100,000, even more. So depending on what the needs are, but it got so overwhelmed that they stopped. I'll actually show it to you guys. This is. Thank you guys, because this is something that really drives entrepreneurship. And a lot of entrepreneurs need help funding, especially at seed level. So this is the Opportunity Fund, Small Business Opportunity Fund. It was open, I think, a week. Right, it was like fast, it went right away. And this is great, right? This is something that a young entrepreneur needs funding, has a great idea, probably has middle of the road credit, can't get financing from one of the large banks or a CDFI, and says, you know what, this is a great grant that I can apply for. However, they're backed up, right? And look at all these big sponsors, right? A lot of VC firms. But this is something that we want to encourage New York City to kind of push forward. So this is one of my ideas. We want to create kind of urgency and give funding to this opportunity fund. So the backing of another opportunity fund as another budget item that I'm recommending.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm a big ideas guy, so bear with me. Okay, no, stop sharing here. Yes, Hector. Yeah.
For both opportunities, I think they're both great ideas. The first one for the workforce, is there any way that the workforce organization can match our contribution? And the same thing for the Opportunity Fund. Is it specific for Washington Heights employers, I guess, or startups? And will they also match the contribution if we was to make a reasonable, I guess, donation or contribution?
So I think that Opportunity Fund is citywide. So I would probably say that it would probably be a citywide thing. And it wouldn't be focused on Washington Heights. Now, as when it comes to workforce was part of my first idea, and that the workforce is a kind of a segment of small business services. Is not a business solution center, but workforce, what it is a human resources training. I need employees to for my small business, and I can go to them for advice, for training, to look for people. So the workforce is a little bit different. It's kind of like an arm of the SBS. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for that question. So, right, I have one more. So, so another one that I said, and this has to do with the outside dining. Outside dining, I don't know if you guys been to these things to get extravagant. These outdoor venues can get extravagant. And they're gonna have to tear this down. And there was probably a lot of capital involved in building these things. And I think that restaurants need, especially after the pandemic, a recovery fund from outside dining. and an investment fund for the new ones that are about to, come up. So an investment fund, for outside dining is another budget item and, that we can. Outside, dining fund would probably be in, capital, so. So I have three, so we have the SBS Business Solution Center, the SBS Opportunity Fund, the increase of it, and then the outside dining fund to kind of recreate, to knock down and recreate, the new one. So, those are my three. I have this last one, but this is kind of, I'll share it, I'll get your opinion on that. Okay. So. When you register a business, you know, it could be Zoom, Legal Zoom, or any of the other websites, or you have a lawyer yourself that registers. There's a database that New York State has, and maybe we can get New York State to get some sort of database of businesses that are registered with the zip codes within our district. The reason why I say that, because from the inception of the creation of business, you need resources, right? You need somewhere to go. So as soon as you start your business, you're investing this money to register a C Corp or LLC. You want you got, you know, creditors looking for you to sell you credit cards, right? But I want to be a helping hand, right? So if there's a way where we can get that information, that data, of businesses that are being registered within our district, that'll be great, right? Because we can shoot them an email with our newsletter, right? With our resource guide and add to our network. So that's just an idea that I have. I don't know if it's feasible, because I know there's a lot of privacy laws and whatnot, and it's gonna be difficult to get that type of data, but
Yeah, they might want a fee.
from us,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know how feasible that is, and maybe we can get into that. I have to do a little bit more research, and that will probably involve more in-depth analysis on that budget item. But what do you guys think?
Good idea.
Yeah, okay, so we'll, we can, I mean, we can table it for next, and we'll discuss all of them, the ones that we discussed today. I just wanted to mention that to you guys. If you guys have budget items that you guys think of the next month, bring it to the table. I just want to create a good list, of solid ideas. We can forward it to the general board.
Are we gonna do the Google?
Yeah, the spreadsheet, yeah, I'll do it live, so we can rank it. Right there next month. So, yeah, so that was our budget. We're gonna go really into it next month, so just prepare for a lengthy conversation next month about what we want first, or what do you think is gonna be best voted for, so. Just want to prepare you guys for that. Any questions about our budget? No, all right, good. So. Any new business? Any new business? And you know, I almost forgot, and it's gonna kill me. Let me see. Jackie, are you there? I didn't even add you. I hope Jackie's still there. Yes, she is. Hi, Jackie, you there? Jackie, if you're there, I can't hear you. Oh.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm here. I'm here, Joel. No, that's okay. No. I'm listening to everything.
Jackie's our monthly contributor. She's a vital part in the research that we allocate for our businesses. She is one of the people there at Cloth, at the Community League in the Heights. I think you're the director there. I don't know. If,
Yes, one of them. There are different programs in a class. You want me to just give a brief update of the bid, or?
I want to know about it. Yes, talk to me.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So as you know, or as you may know, I don't know, Alexis is new, I guess, but and I think Tanisha may be new also. But we have just finished forming a steering committee to explore the possibility of developing a business improvement district on Broadway between 155th and 178th. We just finished off of a very small grant from New York City Department of Small Business Centers. And we will hopefully be able to continue our work with another grant. I am in the process right now of writing something. So, and I will know at the end of September. Well, we're moving forward regardless of whether or not we have funding, but if we have funding, it'll just make our job a lot more easier, because we may be able to give some resources to our small businesses, and maybe some community events, so on and so forth. So as of today, we have successfully formed a steering committee. Bruce, as he said, is on it. Wayne is on it. And contrary to what Bruce said, ask him and Wayne questions. They know the answers to everything because they've been on these meetings. Yeah. And we just finished our needs assessments, although it's still very, very important for us to collect additional merchant information, because we just did not have a lot of enough merchant responses. And just to give you an idea of the importance of that, we really can't come up with a preliminary mock budget of what we would like to do along Broadway, as far as the services are concerned, without adequate input from our merchants and our property owners. So, I've successfully spoken to, quite a few, to a lot. But if, please, if any of you have direct relationships, if there's a hairdresser that you go to, if there's a barber that you go to, please speak to them about the Business Improvement District. I'll be more than happy to come there and speak with them alongside you. It's just very important that we try to get as many people informed, and particularly merchants informed, of what we're doing as possible. In order for us to know what services that we would like to implement, services like sanitation services, security, marketing, events, so on and so forth. It really, all this gets determined as a result of what's on our needs assessment. So, that's pretty much it. There's not really a lot more to tell other than that. We're moving forward, period. It's going to be it's not going to be a short process. It's going to be a long process. And, whether or not we get this grant is sort of irrelevant. We are going to take it as it comes. And I know the steering committee is very, very committed to getting this done. And I know that people that are spoken in the committees are also committed. So, with that said, oh, I'm sorry. And Tanisha, just so you know, Claude has a tech center on Amsterdam. We have a tech center that has computers, free computers, that you walk in, there's like 15, 20 computers. Anybody could walk in and use them. There are community hours. And they also give computer classes there. I don't know, this is sort of addressing the discussion it had before with per Scholas. I mean, they were trying to address the digital divide. I know that it's a lot larger than a tech center, but there is like a resource that people could use if they want to use free computer. And I guess that's it.
Are the surveys still up?
Excuse me?
The survey, is it still like up or no?
It's still up on our webpage. It's still in, I could put it back in my newsletter. I could, we still have QR codes. I mean, it's technically it's over because the grant period is over, but we don't have enough responses. So that's why it's still open. So if you still have the link is still working. Yes.
Okay, so I'll mention that. Tanisha, you have a question?
Yeah, I don't really have a question. I have a comment. Jacqueline, thank you for the information. It's really appreciated, but I just want to make clear what I'm talking about when I say battle, the digital equity divide, the divide. It's great that there's computers that can be loaned out. It's great to have a center where there's computers available, but what is even more important and what we do is actually buying people their own computers to keep that are theirs. So while it's great to have loaners and while it's great to have a technology center, for us, it's even better for our people to be able to own their computers in their home and have Wi-Fi access in their home. That's what I speak of when I say digital equity.
An excellent point, Tanisha. Yes, agreed.
That, borrow stuff and that, hand-me-downs is good enough. They're not. We give our people computers that belong to them. And it's a sense of ownership that sometimes is taken away from people in our community. And that's what we mean by digital equity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just to mention like quickly, I know we had a program about it in April. Bids, for who don't know, they're business improvement districts. And Jackie and Claude are in the process of creating one on 155th through 168, which is great because it offers a bunch of things for the businesses within that zone. So
well, something for frame of reference is Israel. The 181st Street is a bid, and or 125th Street is also a bid. And if you walk along there, it's much cleaner. There are additional supplemental sanitation services, lighting, marketing events, so on and so forth. And it attracts more, businesses. If it's safer and it's cleaner, it'll attract more businesses, and more businesses hopefully will mean more local people in the community going out and shopping in their stores and shopping in other stores.
Yeah, for sure. And really quick, wanted to mention that I know there's the SBS is giving out grants again, so I'm sure Jackie. But if anybody knows of any other CBOs that are trying to start business improvement districts, the applications for merchant organizing, bid exploration, bid formation, all open till September 11th of this month. So I imagine that you're working to get those grants.
Yes.
Okay, good. And sorry I didn't make it to one of the block parties, but next summer I'm in there.
I'm sorry, Joelle, I didn't hear you.
I said, I'm sorry I didn't make it to one of those, the block parties, block events this summer, but I'll make it.
Oh, the open streets. Okay.
All right. But thank you so much for the contribution, Jackie. I appreciate you coming on.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm normally on every month. And welcome, Alexis.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing we got to talk about really quickly. I know it's getting late. So I know there's a marijuana task force, but this is business development and the green movement is coming. So I have to talk about it. Marijuana is it's going to be a huge driving force in the economy of Washington Heights and Inwood. And this summer we saw 200 new card licensees, 200, right? Card licensees are part of the equity portion of the OCM, which is the Office of Cannabis Management, and the legalization of cannabis. It was the equity part. So anybody who was incarcerated during the war on drugs got first dibs on these licenses. We know that it disproportionately affected people of color. So it's good to see that. But 200 new licensees. We don't know who's gonna come to Washington Heights, because it's currently frozen. The OCM is being sued by veterans, and it's just on freeze right now. So, but it's good to see that licensees, card licensees are being given away. Just to also mention about card licenses, these conditional adult use dispensaries, that's what they are. They're gonna be storefronts. The cannabis task force is gonna be the one overseeing the process of, not approving, but communicating with these card licensees. Keep in mind that card licensees, the OCM and New York State, they do the whole build out of the store, merchandise, the construction. They choose the location. So it's a great thing because it gives them a foot in the door, and kind of jumpstarts their business. So it's good to see that. Yeah, so if anybody is interested in this space, it's a big space, huge, right? And shout out to all my black market guys out there that want to come to the light and want to make sure that they do business right. Come on in, man. This is our market, home of the haze, right? So this is a big opportunity. I welcome all individuals to go into the OCM website, go to the board meetings, sit there, watch the board meetings. They record it. They record these board meetings a monthly basis. It's the OCM, which is the Office of Cannabis Management. I believe it's also the Cannabis Control Board. They do it every month, which is kind of the financial aspect of stuff. And also the Cannabis Advisory Board, which is a group of advisors to the board. They have meetings every like 2 or 3 months. But all these meetings, go to them. Go out there and look at these meetings, see what's happening, be in the market. If you are truly want to explore these. I know that the car licenses are, they're done. They're not accepting any more car licenses. But as soon as they roll out these car licenses and they get them up and running, the licenses for people who weren't incarcerated are going to come out. But I encourage everybody to who's into that market to listen to those meetings. Okay, so with that, any announcements? Any announcements? Okay, great. It is 8:56. Sorry for the 2-hour meeting, but it's the first one. And we're trying to get things done. So a motion to adjourn. Anybody have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, 8:57. Do I get a second? Do I get a second to motion? Second, we got a second. What's your name again for the record?
Radia Barnes.
Radia Barnes. Second, so 8:57, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you for staying up late. All right, thank you. Good night, guys.